just put myself on mute until you ask me to start presenting.
Inspiration has lived here since 1592, and more than 400 years later, it's still going strong. Inspiration has helped burgeoning writers put pen to paper and given world leaders a head start. It has set the stage for budding playwrights and created characters that will never die. For countless actors who started here, inspiration has played a part. Work done in Trinity helped split the atom, battled cancer, and guided man's first giant leap. From here, we've inspired people around the world. But even with this proud history, we are firmly focused on the future. Today, we are making new discoveries and inspiring the next generation of history makers.
All right. Welcome back, everyone, from GSB Live. Another episode coming. Today is episode 18. And today we're very honored to have Ms. Kim Boyle, the Regional Recruitment Manager from Trinity College Dublin, a very well-respected school. And today she's got a lot of great news and a lot of exciting news for you guys. And I hope if you have any question, please leave your question in the comments, and we'll go to the answer at the Q&A at the end of the presentation. So over to you, Kim. Welcome.
Thank you, Annie. Thank you for having me here today. I'm just going to share my slides. And thanks for everyone for joining in.
Yeah.
So as Annie mentioned, my name is
it's full screen
Kim
now.
Boyle.
Yeah.
Great. And I hope you can all hear me okay. So you can see here, I'm opening up with a beautiful aerial shot of our lovely, unique, historic city centre campus. The COVID-19 situation in Ireland, or the university's protocol on it, how students got on arriving this year and last year. You can check out the link to our arrivals website on our frequently asked questions section as well. So, sorry. Okay, I'm just going to open up by pointing out some of our famous and notable alumni. You might recognize some of these famous faces and names. So we're happy to boast that we have two Nobel Prize winning scientists, Ernest Walton, who's renowned for splitting the atom, and William Campbell, who found a cure for river blindness, and they won Nobel Prizes for these discoveries. We also have many literary giants that have tread the cobblestones of Trinity in the past. The likes of Jonathan Swift, who wrote Gulliver's Travels, Oscar Wilde, who wrote many novels and plays. He was actually born in our campus, and you could potentially study in the building where Oscar Wilde was born. Samuel Beckett, who also won a Nobel Prize for literature. And as some of the more modern, popular writers in popular culture, the writers of the TV show Game of Thrones actually met at Trinity. And they were doing different programs, but they met through one of our societies. So it just goes to show through the things you get involved in, even outside of your program, that can potentially determine what you want to do after you finish your studies. I don't know if you know much about Ireland as a destination to come and study in, but this is just where we're located. We're right next door to the UK on the western tip of Europe. It's not difficult to get to Ireland. We have a large international airport, and you can usually, if you're traveling, say, from anywhere in Southeast Asia, you can get to Ireland typically with one stop, maybe in the Gulf states, in continental Europe, or in the UK. And we are only a 1 hour flight from the UK, and a 1.5 to 2 hour flight from all the continental countries as well. So why else would you choose to study in Ireland and pick Ireland as your study destination? Well, we're renowned for being a very friendly, safe and welcoming environment. We consistently rank as one of the top 10 peaceful countries in the world. We have a small population of about 4.5, nearly 5 million people now, and about 1 million are in the capital city, Dublin. There are actually over 80 million people worldwide who claim Irish heritage. So even though you might think Ireland is a small country, we're very far reaching. You might have met an Irish person in the past or someone with Irish heritage. We are an English-speaking country and we use the euro as our currency. So it makes it very convenient for students when they want to travel around continental Europe as well. We have a long tradition in education excellence and we're the first in Europe for the completion of third level education. So we've significant investment and buy-in from the senior government, and this in turn leads to a very highly educated, highly skilled workforce. And this workforce is very much sought after. And it's one of the reasons that we've attracted many leading global companies to come and set up in Ireland. And the leading companies, the multinationals that have come and set up, has in turn created a very innovative and creative culture. A lot of cottage industries have sprung up around the global companies. So it's an exciting time to be working, living in Dublin, studying in Dublin, or doing research here as well. But we do offer a stay-back visa. Our international students at undergraduate level are welcome to stay back for 1 year and work after their studies. And postgraduate students are allowed to stay back for 2 years and work after their studies. And there are many countries in East and Southeast Asia where you don't need a visa to come and study in Ireland. The likes of Singapore, students from Singapore, students from Malaysia, Hong Kong, Taiwan, Korea, and many countries can come and study without needing a visa to be here. So then why Dublin as the capital city? You can see a lovely aerial shot of the city there on the right-hand side. It's a very different city to what you would normally find as a typical capital city. We don't have the high-rise buildings or the pollution or the congestion that you get with a lot of major cities. It's a small city. It's easy to get around on foot or by bicycle or by public transport. It's very clean. Ireland is actually known as the Emerald Isle because we're green in many, many ways. And Trinity is very unique. It's a walled campus situated right in the heart of the city. So within the campus walls, it's very leafy, peaceful, tranquil and green. And then you step outside the walls of the campus and you've got the capital city on your doorstep with museums and theatres, art galleries, and music venues, restaurants, cafes, and shopping districts. Dublin is a very young, friendly European capital. Again, the 10th safest city in the world, one of the best student cities in the world. We have the global tech hub here in Dublin as well. Dublin is actually known as the Silicon Valley of Europe. It's easy to get out of the city and get to the other side of the country by bus or by train. And in 2.5 hours, you could be on the western coast of Ireland, which is known as the Wild Atlantic Way. It's a beautiful, rugged, stunning landscape. It's been used in many movies and TV shows. We actually have a very strong film and TV industry here in Ireland. We attract a lot of filmmakers because of the beauty of the landscape. It's easy to get out of the city and get to continental Europe. You could be at the airport from the university in about half an hour, and a lot of our students love to take a short, cheap flight on a Friday evening and spend the weekend in Rome or Paris, Madrid or London and be back on a Sunday night for their classes on a Monday morning. We also have parks, forests, beaches, and mountains all on our doorstep, and you can be out of the city within half an hour and in beauty and in nature before you even know it. So I mentioned that Dublin is the Silicon Valley of Europe and the tech hub, and you can see in the background that's where the main Trinity campus is based. In the foreground, we're building a new innovation district, and we're working with government, other HEIs, and with industry in Ireland to make this happen. And this innovation district is situated in the Grand Canal Dock area of Dublin, where all the major global companies are based. And you can see from this slide how close we are geographically located to the multinationals and the tech companies. The likes of Google, LinkedIn, Amazon, Facebook, Twitter are all on our doorstep. So because of our close geographical proximity, but also because of our reputation, we get to naturally work very closely with industry. and senior executives from these companies will help design our programs, potentially teach in our programs, come in as guest academics, and most importantly, they provide us with internships and job opportunities for our students. A little bit more about Trinity now. So we've been around a long time, nearly 430 years. We were founded in 1592 by Queen Elizabeth I under the same legal charter as Oxford and Cambridge, and we offer a similar model of education today. All of our undergraduate programs are 4 years long. We've managed to maintain our reputation to stay as Ireland's #1 university and 101 in the world on the QS university rankings. We're a very international university, so we're the 8th most international university in the world on the Times Higher rankings. 40% of our academic staff come from other countries, and nearly 30% of our student body are from outside of Ireland. We are a research-intensive university, and we are the only Irish university who is a member of LERU. It's a prestigious league of European research universities. In actual fact, of all the research funding that is awarded to Ireland from the European Union, Trinity wins 50% of that. So we really pack a punch when it comes to research. We're also the first in Europe for educating entrepreneurs for the last number of years, according to the Pitch Book report. This, again, is because we have a lot of investment and buy-in in this area. We have an arm of the university called Tangent that looks after innovation and entrepreneurship activities for students, and they do a lot of extracurricular activities, and they've been very successful in this space for the last number of years. We're also comprehensive, and we could say that we have 600 course options to choose from when you look across the spectrum of the program choices and options and combinations that we offer. So this is the way the university is structured. We have 3 faculties and 24 schools. It's easier to say what we don't offer than what we do offer because we have so many programs to choose from. I get asked a lot, do we offer hospitality or veterinary science or studio art? And they would be the 3 main subjects. So I'd say, I'm sorry, we don't offer, but we have everything and anything in between. And it really doesn't matter what you come to study at Trinity, whether you're going to study in the Arts and Humanities faculty or the STEM faculty or health science. All of our subjects rank very well across the spectrum. So you're going to get a quality education no matter what you come to study. 18 of our subjects are in the top 100 in the world and 4 are in the top 50. You may have seen a picture of this library in the past. This is a Trinity library, and it's situated right in the heart of our campus. It's very famous, and we attract a lot of visitors. It consistently ranks as one of the top 3 tourist attractions in Ireland, and it is a very important income generator for the university. Many of our visitors are inspired. A lot of students come to visit as a tourist and they say, oh my God, I love it here. I really want to study here. I've heard these stories before, and they make it happen and they make themselves a student of Trinity. And that's always nice to hear. One of our more inspired visitors was George Lucas of the Star Wars franchise. And he was so inspired that he decided to model the Jedi Library in his newer Star Wars movies on the Trinity Library. So any Star Wars fans out there might be happy to hear that.
Yeah, there's a lot of Star Wars fans in Vietnam.
Good. The most important thing to note is that it is a working library, and we have over 6 million items and resources reflecting 400 years of academic development for our students to be able to tap into. We offer the largest library in Ireland. We're a legal depository since 1801. That means that we get a copy of every book printed in Ireland and the UK since that time. And we have many beautiful manuscripts. The most famous is the Book of Kells, a 9th century gospel manuscript. And many of our students who come to study at Trinity will have the opportunity to do an archive project on one of our many beautiful manuscripts, depending on the subject that they choose. So it is a working library, and that's the most important thing to note. So just to tell you a little... Sorry?
Oh, sorry. Just wondering, like, do students actually go in the library and study there like a normal library?
It depends on the subject that they're taking. It could be classics or English literature or something like that. But it is a working library, and we have many PhD candidates doing archive projects as well. So
Wow, that's great. Like I do know visitor come to take photos, but like for a student actually go in there and study and it's still working nowadays, it's very great to
Exactly.
to
There's a lot
know.
going on in the background in the library. You can even see sometimes some of the research rooms with people working on the manuscripts as well. So,
Wow.
which is always interesting.
Yeah.
So just to tell you how the programs are structured then. So we do offer a foundation program for students who are taking a curriculum in high school that we don't accept for direct entry into undergraduate studies. There are two pathways to choose from, an arts and humanities pathway and then a science and health science pathway. And this program is taught at our affiliated college called Marino Institute of Further Education, which is situated here in Dublin, about 5 kilometres from the main campus. So we don't accept students from any other foundation program. We only accept students from our own foundation program. This program is designed and governed and taught by Trinity academics. So we have full oversight on it. We've really good progression rates on it. The students of this program will get a Trinity ID card and a Marino ID card. So that means that they can come to the main Trinity campus, use the facilities, attend activities and events, and this gives them an excellent grounding in becoming a Trinity student. And they tend to do very well then when they enter into first year of the program. So as I said, all of our 4-year bachelor programs are 4 years long. We have some common entry programs, combination programs and specialized programs as well. We offer something called a joint honours, which is where across the 3 faculties, which is where students have flexibility. They take 2 subjects and then they have flexibility as to what they specialise in and when they specialise, or they can drop one subject completely and just completely major in one subject as well. So there's a lot of flexibility there. And we have 150 joint honours combinations across 13 schools. Then we offer some professional programs. Yeah.
Sorry. What is the most common joint honors combination that students from Asia normally take?
It could be anything. There isn't really one that jumps out at me. But one nice combination to think about that I often talk about as an example is business. So business can be studied on its own for a full 4-year duration degree called global business. It's a typical international business degree. But business can also be combined with law or computer science or with another language. And it can also be studied as a common entry degree with economics and social studies as well, which is a popular program.
Oh, wow, that's great.
Another popular common entry program will be PPES, philosophy, political science, economics, and social studies. So they would be some examples. But the nice thing is that you can do interfaculty. So business and computer science is across 2 faculties, which is a nice combination as well. And we have some other interfaculty options also.
Wow, that's really flexible when students nowadays, they don't want to stick to just one major. They could be doing the major in the first year and they thought, oh, this is not what I want to do. And then they can change.
It's similar to a double major or a liberal arts type of degree. If students are looking at the US and they're looking for that type of degree, that's something that we can offer. But you do apply for your 2 subjects right at the beginning. And it's when you're in the program, then you have flexibility as to your program choice between the 2. So,
all right, I got it. Thank you.
Okay, so we offer some professional programs as well. So there's an option across computer science, engineering, and pharmacy to do either the 4-year degree or go on and do a master's and graduate with both a bachelor's and a master's in the end. In computer science and engineering, if you choose to do the 5-year program, there are some really nice options to take an internship, a guaranteed internship with industry, in the 4th year of the program. If you do pharmacy and you can graduate with your degree and you can work the pharmacy industry is one of the top 3 employers here in Ireland. You can go and work in the pharma tech industry. Or you can do the master's and then graduate and you can register with the professional body that represent pharmacists and work as a pharmacist here in Ireland and abroad. With engineering, again, if you do the 5-year degree, you can register with the professional bodies that represent engineers, and you could potentially be signing off on your own designs as well. And you can register with these professional bodies around the world also. And dentistry and medicine are a 5-year degree minimum, then with 1-year internship also. All of our postgraduate master's taught programs are 1 year long. They're calendar year with a dissertation at the end. And then we offer, obviously, the research options, research degrees, and PhDs also. So when it comes to college life, it's a very important part of the students' studies here in Trinity, and they're very much encouraged to get involved in college life. There's 120 student societies to choose from, 50 sports clubs, many publications. We have a special Southeast Asian Society that run activities and events that students can get involved in. We offer 2 of the oldest student societies in the world, the Phil and the Hist. They're 2 debating societies. They're very influential. They typically would attract a lot of high-profile speakers. We have that arm of the university that I mentioned, Tangent, a dedicated space for entrepreneurship and innovation activities. They take up a whole floor of our brand new business school. We have a new business school on the main campus that just opened a couple of years ago. It's a state-of-the-art facility, and a whole floor of that is dedicated to Tangent. We're also building a new science building that's due to open in 2023 called the Learning Foundry. And this is, again, going to be a state-of-the-art facility. So you get the beautiful historical buildings, but we have many state-of-the-art facilities as well. We have a state-of-the-art sports centre with a 25-metre pool and fitness equipment and training rooms, a climbing wall. You wouldn't believe what you'll find in the city centre location. We have tennis courts, cricket court, a cricket pitch, rugby pitch, so playing fields. And we even have our own theatres, galleries, and museums on campus. So that's the end of the slideshow. I just wanted to keep some time for questions at the end. But I've put my contact details there. I'm also available to book for a one-to-one appointment. And you're also welcome to go online and talk to a Trinity student directly through our Uni Buddy program. It's an online peer to be able to talk to other students and learn, exactly what the experience is like here. So I could put the link to that in the chat box, or GSB can provide that as well. So
yes, for sure. We're more than open to get any questions from you and ask Kim right about it. One of the questions I get mostly asked about is that does Trinity accept students from other part of Europe as a transfer into Trinity, or do they have to do the foundation program again?
It really depends. So, I would need to kind of know the case of the student before I can advise on that. The typical process is that we do offer advanced entry only to certain programs. Some, we call it transfer advanced entry. Some programs accept it and will accept transfer students, other programs won't. So it really depends on the program. It's very dependable on the curriculum that the student has studied, and whether it transfers or maps over. But we don't accept students from other foundation programs. They would have, say, for example, you're based in Vietnam, a student doing the national Vietnamese curriculum would have to do the Trinity Foundation first before going into direct entry. We accept many international curriculum for direct entry, typical A-levels, IB, American accredited schools, and many other, the Malaysian system, UEC, SCPM. So there are other local curriculum that we do accept. And I have our admission guide, and it has a list of all the curriculum that we accept for undergraduate studies. So.
Okay, so I think the best advice is that we would collect the student transcript and ask you whether the Trinity accepted the transfer. Otherwise, we can apply for the foundation program first.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. So, we have the first question is, can you please share more information about the admission process?
So it really depends on the program, but typically our admissions is done through our courses website. And on the courses website, you have all the courses well indexed, and you choose a course that's got a course description that tells you what the entry requirements are, and then you apply through our application portal at the end. So international students apply directly through the courses website. Applications open on the 1st of November. Most programs are open until the 30th of June, but some programs have an early closing date. So do note the closing date. We recommend an early application because a lot of programs are very popular. And then, so students are welcome to apply for up to 3 programs, and depending on the program that they choose, on the program that they apply for, or how many programs they apply for, the first program that they apply for will be considered the first preference at undergraduate level. So at undergraduate level, the admissions is done centrally through our admissions office called Academic Registry. At postgraduate level for masters, the admissions is done by the course director. So they could potentially get multiple offers if they apply for multiple programs. So they do have to make a separate application for each program. They have to fill in the online application form, use their own email address. And then it's not as difficult as you might think, though. You provide all your personal details. And the most important thing is uploading all the documentation and having all your documentation in order. So having your transcripts and your 2 letters recommendation, your proof of English language if that's required, and any other details that the course requires. So admissions is really based on academic merit. You don't have to write a lot of large wordy essays. You have to write a short personal statement of about 500 words, and kind of make that unique to Trinity. Now, some programs will require an interview or additional assessment. Say, for example, our Masters in Computer Science, they might be asked to do an additional assessment there. Some of the programs, especially at master's level, the course director will want to interview you and assess your suitability for the program as well. So it really depends on the course. But you can potentially get a conditional offer while you're waiting for final results, while you're waiting for your final English language test. And offers are typically given in about 10 to 21 days. So they're given on a rolling basis.
Okay. Wow. Thank you so much. I think for admission process, previously last year, GSB has helped quite a numbers of application to Trinity already. So we're very experienced in terms of process and assisting the application. So if you have any further question for the application process, you can ask us. If it's getting too complicated, obviously we'll seek Kim's help.
That's what I'm here for. So, if you're not sure, if you're wondering if you're eligible before you even make an application and pay the application fee. So there is a €55 application fee for every application, and that's non-refundable. So you can potentially send over your transcripts and your grades, and we can have a look at them, and we can, give you some advice and tell you whether we think you may be eligible for an offer or not. So.
Yeah, definitely. And we have been doing that before making the actual application. So thank you.
You're welcome.
The next question is, what are the entry requirements for bachelor undergraduate programs? Is there a common entry, or each course would be different?
Each course is different, and it depends on the curriculum that you're taking as well. But we will have minimum requirements. Say, for example, if you're doing IB, you have to present with at least 3 5s at higher level and 3 4s at standard level, I think. And then with A level, it's different again. I think the minimum is ABB. So we have a band system. And say at IB, for example, the minimum number of points that you would need, including your bonus points, is 30 to be considered for our Band 3 programs, and then it goes up depending on the program. So I've just put the this says private chat. Maybe I'll just try and put it into comments.
Yeah, sure.
I can see here. Oh, I can't put a comment there.
You
I
can
don't know if you can
share
see
the
this.
link to me, and I
Yeah,
can.
I put it into private
send-
chat there. That's
Sure.
the mission guide for undergraduate.
Yeah, I'll just put in the comments for you guys so you can see it. All right, it's on my comment, so you can click on it. Perfect. Yeah, I think exactly right, Kim. For each course, the entry requirement will be different. So we need to have the link that you sent to see which course require what type of GPA and other necessary requirement.
Yeah.
The next question is, could you please share more about the English requirements?
So normally if you're presenting what else, we look for a 6.5. At undergraduate level, we look for a minimum band of 6 as well. But we also accept Duolingo and TOEFL. And I have the requirements for each of those. 1 second.
What about PTE, Pearson test?
Yeah, so we accept the Pearson test as a minimum score of 63 with no section score below 59. At Duolingo for undergraduate level, it's 110 out of 160, and that's the same at postgraduate. TOEFL at undergraduate level, we look for 90 with 21 in writing. In a postgraduate level, it's 88, and then for a foundation program, it's even lower. So the typical entry requirement for foundation is IELTS 5 with a 5 in writing, no element below 4.5. TOEFL is 64 with a 16 in writing. Duolingo 80 out of 160. But some of the programs in the foundation have a higher English language requirement as well. So some of them will require a 6 with no band below 5.5. This is for history, law, medicine, pharmacy, and psychology. So there's always going to be some exemptions, you know?
Yeah. I have another question just to tell on the English requirements. What if the student get IELTS of 5.5? They just lack 0.5. Do you offer any professional English
We
before?
do.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, but we do look for a 6 with no band lower than 5.5 for that program. So still pretty high, but I'll put it into the chat there, the link to the pre-sessional.
Yep, sure. So to enter the pre-sessional English, then we need to have a 6, and then you can do how many weeks of pre-sessional English?
10 weeks.
10 weeks?
Yeah, to bring you up to 0.5, bring you up that 0.5. But you don't have to resit IELTS. You just have to pass the Trinity assessment.
That's great, because I think 10 weeks of English is enough for students to do professional English. If they do any longer, they get a little bit when can I get right into my course? English
they're eager
now.
to start then.
So the next question is, what is the most popular major for Southeast Asian students at Trinity?
I would have to say, without a doubt, medicine probably. We attract a lot of medicine candidates, especially from Malaysia and Singapore. We have an organization that looks after our medicine applicants for Southeast Asia, for the whole region, called the IUMC, the Irish Universities Medical Consortium. And we direct all our queries for medicine and dentistry to this organization. It is governed by 4 Irish medical schools as a centralised application system for 4 Irish medical schools. They're run by third-party organisations, but they are governed by the schools. So we don't recommend any of our education partners in the region or GSP or anyone, please don't advise medicine or dentistry candidates. Send them to me or send them directly to the IUMC and they'll do the advising. So there's an office in Singapore and an office in KL as well. So Singapore just looks after Singaporeans, and then the KL office will look after anyone from across the region.
Okay, so if we do have any inquiries for medicine, we will get your advice and maybe send the application to you. So the KL office can
don't even start taking an application or looking at documents or anything. The initial query, either send it to me or send it to the IOMC. So,
okay, sure.
Yeah.
I'm really curious because medicine is, I think, one of the greatest course that they can do at Trinity. What is the requirements for this course for Southeast Asian student, and how to, like, medicine is quite competitive to get a place to study. So how do you make sure you get a place, or you just have to prepare?
It's very, very competitive, and you need to have top marks to be considered. You have to have done very well in your high school curriculum. The requirements, the Trinity standard requirements, are outlined in the document that I gave you, but the IOMC will have their own requirements. So because they're benchmarking with 4 schools, sometimes they can be a little bit lower, and I recommend kind of discussing that directly with them. But the admission is really based on your academic merit. That you have to get the results that we look for, perform well, and you have to have the right subject combination. So at least 2 science subjects at a higher level of whatever curriculum you're doing, and chemistry as well. It has to be one of them. And then there's an interview involved. So for international students, that would be the main admission process.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
The next question is, are there any scholarships for international students, and usually how to apply for them?
So the main scholarship fund that I look after is the Global Excellence Scholarship for international students. It's typically a one-time tuition fee deduction, a tuition fee waiver of up to €5,000 from the first year of fees. And that goes across the foundation program, undergraduate and postgraduate as well. There are some subject-specific scholarships available. For example, the E3 initiative, it's an umbrella initiative that takes in 3 of our 24 schools: natural science, computer science, and engineering. And the last year or so, they've been offering really good scholarships in this area. There's a new scholarship fund there, a lot of funding available, like we're building that new building that I talked about, and rolling out new programs, more places on our existing programs. So it's an exciting time to come and do STEM at Trinity right now. There's some really good scholarships there. For example, there was a new master's in smart and sustainable cities, and there was a €10,000 tuition fee waiver off that program last year. Then there were 2 new programs: computer science and geography, and environmental science and environmental engineering at undergraduate level. And those programs had really good scholarships also. So there was a €10,000 tuition fee waiver for first year, and €4,000 for every subsequent year. So they have their own scholarship fund. There's also a special scholarship fund for global business as well.
Yeah.
So
does the student, when they apply for these courses, the scholarship will automatically awarded when they meet the entry requirements? Is there any other
no
requirements?
First of all, they make an application for the program. And once they get an offer for the program, it can be conditional or firm, then they're allowed to apply for the scholarship. And when they apply for the scholarship, they apply with their offer letter. They write a short statement of 500 words about how they'll contribute to the Trinity community. And then they provide a copy of their CV as well.
Okay. Okay, that's great. I think like merit-based and faculty scholarship is great. It's encouraged students to explore more like a diversity of courses that they normally don't think about.
I have the link for scholarships, so I can give that to you also, and that can be put into the chat box if you want.
Yeah, sure, that would be great. Thank you. We got a lot of useful information here today.
I'm glad it can be helpful.
Yeah, totally. All right, so I have put the scholarship links in the comments as well for you guys. So if you guys would like to explore further scholarship, you can click on the link. Moving on to the next question. So this one is regard entry requirements. So if a student study IB or A level, do they need to do the foundation again or get direct into bachelor?
No, they'll get direct entry with IB or A level once they meet the requirements.
Yeah. What if they don't quite get the marks? Like if they do IB program, they don't get all the 4s at the lower level subject or at the higher level.
No, they can't do the foundation program if they don't get the mark. The foundation program is really for students presenting with a curriculum that we don't accept for direct entry. Now, if it turns out that they haven't done the right subject combination for the subject that they want to do, for example, they want to do just say they wanted to do like one of the science subjects and their school, for example, doesn't offer 2 sciences or something, a higher level, then we can consider them for the foundation in that regard.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. No problem. The next question is regarding the COVID-19 situation. So can you share more about the COVID-19 and the quarantine process for students going to study from Vietnam?
So a lot of our restrictions are being eased now because over 90% of our population are fully vaccinated. So there were up until a certain point during the summer, there was a mandatory hotel quarantine depending on what country you're coming from or how your country was handling the pandemic. We've since disbanded that. We don't have mandatory hotel quarantine anymore. If you're fully vaccinated with a vaccine that's accepted or approved by the European Medicines Agency, such as Pfizer or Moderna, and you can prove that, you won't have any problem, coming and starting your studies straight away. If you're vaccinated with a vaccine that's not approved, such as Sinovac or Sputnik or something like that, you might have to get a PCR test, a negative PCR test. I think it's 72 hours before you arrive, and then you might have to self-isolate or restrict your movements for approximately 5 days and get another test. And once that's negative, then you're free to move around. And you can get vaccinated while you're here as well. There's a vaccination center on campus that just opened this academic year.
Yeah.
Where SAFA students who are not currently vaccinated can go and get vaccinated.
Okay, that's great. I think most of our students in Ho Chi Minh City have already been vaccinated. So hopefully we don't have to quarantine so much.
Yeah, we're lifting the majority of the leftovers of our restrictions on October 22nd. So things are going to be very different by the time it comes to September 2022 entry. Things are going to be very different again, hopefully. So.
Better.
Yeah.
All right. So next question. So if a student is studying a course in Vietnam and they come to Trinity to continue their study, probably the same course, can she apply for credit exemption?
Not typically. It really depends on, again, it depends on the advanced entry and whether the curriculum maps over. And that really will determine whether they can skip year 1 and maybe go into year 2. But even at that, they would still have to meet the high school requirements that we look for. So they'd still have to have done like an international curriculum that we accept for direct entry or high school before they could be considered for advanced entry.
All right. All right, so we're moving to the last few questions. The next one is, can students change their major after they have received the offer letter?
I would recommend, if you're not sure about a program, I would recommend applying for the 2 or 3 programs that you're interested in. That would be much easier than trying to change. At the offer stage, if you don't want the major that you've applied for, you'll just be told to go and apply again for the program that you want. They wouldn't really transfer the offer over into another program. You would just have to apply because the entry requirements could be different for the 2 programs. So you might meet the entry requirements for one program and not for another. So really just apply for the programs that you want. But then if you put one as your first preference and you get an offer for that and you don't want to, yes, you can tell the academic registry and then they'll assess your next application.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good. Thank you.
Welcome.
So the last question is, do courses require students to complete internship or final project at Trinity?
Some programs have an internship component, other programs don't. And the internships are usually optional. They're not mandatory. And your final project, so most programs, whether it's degree or master's, you'll do what's called a capstone project or a dissertation. Undergraduate level, it's a big part of year 4. And for a lot of programs, it takes up the whole of year 4. And yes, like I don't know what you mean at Trinity. You might have to find a case study or go and do it on a business or an organization or something like that. But you're still enrolled as a Trinity student while you're doing that, and you don't get your final degree. You don't get your final outcome until you submit all your final projects. So
yeah, I think what she means is that most universities now have embedded the compulsory internship into their programs, and they call it final project. So so when students have done 2-3 years and coming to their last semester, they will go on to internship. She was asking if it's compulsory at Trinity, or students have total freedom to do their internship at year 1.
There's some programs have an optional internship. A lot of programs won't have an internship component at all. It really depends on the program. So, yeah.
All right. So that's the last question for the session today. But to tell on that question in regards to internship, I would like to ask what's the job success rate for graduate at Trinity, and is there any department at Trinity that helps students who graduated can get like work ready program or build up their CV, or even connect them with industry to get their first job?
Yeah, so we have a careers service, and it's a free service for all students. Students are encouraged to engage with the careers service as early as possible. The careers service will help with CV preparation, interview planning, and finding an internship, finding jobs. We have our own internal job sites where employers will come specifically looking for Trinity students or Trinity graduates, and they can advertise on our internal site. We host a lot of industry speakers and workshops as well. And the employment rate for Trinity is over 95%, I think, are in further study or jobs within 6 months of finishing their studies. And there was a study done by a national newspaper that found that Trinity graduates will earn 30% more than any other Irish graduate within 5 years of finishing their education. So Trinity graduates are very much sought after. And then while you're here in Ireland, depending on your program and the capacity that you have within your program, you are entitled to work for 20 hours a week during term time and 40 hours a week during holidays to supplement your income. And the minimum wage in Ireland is €10 an hour, but many employers will pay over that.
Yeah. Wow, that's great. 95% success rate is very high, and staying in Dublin and studying at a prestigious school, I think the graduate is very much sought after.
Yeah, and then I mentioned that the getting involved in society life is very important, not just for the development of the student and so they can develop into being a well-rounded individual, but it also helps with building up their CV if they get involved in society life. We have so many societies. If they take a leadership role in a society, such as chairperson or secretary or treasurer, they can put that on their CV. That can help with their CV building. So when they're finished their program, they have more to show on their CV than say, oh, I've just been studying for 4 years. I also got involved in the society. I took a leadership role. You know, something they can talk about at interview as well, and it would help set them apart from other candidates.
Yeah, totally. I think the job success rate also involve the student activeness while they're studying and how much they spend their effort on other activity outside of studying as well.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's all the questions that we have for you today. I know it's a lot of questions, but it's all very useful. And thank you for all the links that we have shared with our partners. So now that we have the links for entry requirements and also scholarships. So thank you so much. And for our audience today, if you have any further questions for Trinity or for Kim, please don't hesitate to send us a question in the comments or send us directly via email, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. And thank you, Kim, so much again today for joining this session. And we hope to see you soon once everyone vaccinated and we can travel again.
Oh, I look forward to that. I look forward to that day coming back.
Me too. Yeah. Thank you again for joining in to the session, and looking forward to see you again in other sessions. All right. Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
See you.